What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday night. That means this is at week's end. We're about to take a spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics, shows, and so much more. Have fun just winding down our week, getting ready to start a new one. Don't go anywhere. Check this out. As always, a huge shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to check them out at their website or follow them on social medias. That way you don't miss out on the exclusive awesomeness that they're constantly dropping. And if you need anything clean or press, try out my buddy Justin over on Instagram. His link is in the description. Let him know you found him via the channel. And also, as always, huge shout out to ABX Comics and Games, without whom I would not be here today having all this fun with this amazing community. So let's get it rocking and rolling. As always, shout out to the next door neighbors of Sector 2814. We are borrowing one of their most mightiest ring slingers.
Wow, that touches me right here.
There's only one though, so we get to title him however we want.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm ready to wind down the week.
Yes.
So as always, this show is not complete without a resident Canadian, and TM Nerdy's unfortunately said he could not be here tonight. So we had to reach into the history files of the show, dust off some of our old tools, and polish the noggin and bring him back. My heterosexual life partner from the Great White North, the one, the only, the leader of the comic army, Chris the Comic Vet, is in the house.
Yeah, it's a little dusty, but yeah.
Old but not obsolete.
Right. So how does this show work?
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure that he just called you an old tool.
The Terminator Genesis reference.
It's been I've had worse. Okay.
You just know when Arnold's whole tagline was old but not obsolete.
Right.
Yeah. I love that movie.
He's rocking the beard. Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of bad movies sometimes. And I'm not a fan of them other times.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad movies, did either one of y'all see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny that came out last week? Because I've heard from everyone that watched it that it actually wasn't a bad movie, that they legitimately enjoyed it. It had a lot of negative criticism from the early screening and everything, but it kind of had the reverse effect as Flash. Positive screenings, Flash wasn't well received. Indy had like negative screenings, and it's been pretty well received, though neither one of them, nobody really went to see.
No, and they were doing the same thing with Indiana Jones that they did with the Flash. By the second week, they were offering people basically $5 off a ticket.
Yeah, there's Fandango coupons and stuff. Buy one, get one free. And
let me ask you guys a legitimate question about that. This summer this year so far seems to be rocked with decent movies that have just been obliterated. Is it because during COVID, everyone went out and got themselves a home theater? And with the money that everyone is spending on that home theater and all these streaming services, they're just like, I can wait till it comes.
Like, I don't know. I think it's a combination of things. I think for this year, because we saw John Wick do fantastic. We saw Mario do fantastic.
Right.
We saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 do good number-wise, not necessarily based off budget-wise.
Right.
But in terms of like total amount of people that saw it, a lot of people saw it. But those were really spaced out. Then directly following that is when the floodgates open. We have Little Mermaid one week, Spider-Verse the next week. It was all back to back. What do we have next? Transformers, then Flash, and then Indiana Jones. Like, it's too much for.
But it seems almost for every movie that has turned a profit with beyond 20%, there's at least 3 other bombs that I kind of thought, hey, these movies might be all right to check out. That Ben Affleck movie, dealing with hypnotism, I thought that may have been okay. Bomb. Like, it's, that movie Air actually did poorly.
Did nothing, and they rushed it to streaming.
Right. And now it's building up a following where it may be rejuvenated come award season time kind of thing. But yeah, just it's bizarre. We've had 2 comic book movies do well this year. The rest have all tanked.
And for context, Spider-Verse only did well based off animation standards. Had that been a live action budget, that would have been another bomb. But because it's got an animation budget, it's a financial smash. It still only did roughly what half of Mario did, which is just an anomaly. That's an absolute anomaly. That was a mega hit. Spider-Verse was fantastic.
Yep.
But if that was live action, like with that kind of budget and stuff, that would have been another loss on the board. But I'm excited for a lot of these movies to hit home viewing because I'm ready to see them again.
And Universal and Nintendo are so happy that Mario did so well because they're building that whole epic universe down here as part of Universal, which is going to have the Nintendo world and the Super Mario world and everything. So they definitely want to go into that. It's going to open in 2 years, 2025, but still they definitely want to have, get out another one and keep the momentum rolling so that,
Who do you think they'll bring to the screen next? Like Zelda or something? Was that Link? What's the little?
Well, I know. I mean, when they were looking at the different, I mean, you can kind of see some of the things that they're already trying to build, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do another How to Train Your Dragon, because it looks like they're doing a How to Train Your Dragon world there too.
So is that in the universe?
Grand Theft Auto, please.
That's part of the Epic universe, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I didn't know if it was just Nintendo or what else.
No, they're doing Nintendo World and we're in the Super Mario World, but then they're also doing How to Train Your Dragon, so they're doing a lot of different.
So is it just like stuff under DreamWorks Illumination, or just not?
Pixar and Nintendo. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of great cartoons and stuff from that little animation studio. Both of them, DreamWorks and Illumination's been crushing it, man. They've been putting out some massive success stories, sequels that keep hitting that are actually fun and enjoyable. Last year, every year when I go on my family vacation to St. Simon, one night of the week we go to the small cinema that's on the island, and we always watch a movie. Unfortunately for me, last year it was Minions, but it was a blast. It was the Despicable Me 37 or Minions 15, whichever one it was. But we saw that, and it was actually good.
Yeah, it's speaking of houses that have been successful versus the ones that haven't. Pixar, man, it's almost like Lightyear was a kiss of death. Like,
Lightyear, Strange New Worlds, Elemental, that's a hat trick. They're done.
Yeah, just the Lightyear, they could have had, like, we talked about it on this show a while ago, and there was such great opportunity, and it hit
that
hard. It hit
had
hard like a rock. It hit hard and kind of imploded. As it sank, and then it was just. And they haven't seemed to bounce back. But now the one that you just mentioned, the Strange Worlds, was that Pixar or was that Disney by itself though?
That was Disney. That wasn't Pixar. No,
that wasn't Pixar.
I think it was Disney.
I think it was Disney too.
Is there? Okay, I didn't know that one. I assumed it was Pixar, I guess.
Yeah, like they do. I mean, the Disney Animation does its own computer-generated thing, like they did
like Frozen and stuff.
Right.
Exactly. Frozen, and they did can't think of the other one that they did. Never mind. Keep going.
Tangled? I'm like a few decades behind here, I know.
Yeah, they did Zack Attacks or something, or Mars Attacks or something like that.
Let's say Zack Attack. Isn't that Saved by the Bell? Hello.
Maybe.
I was gonna go with
Friends Forever.
The big Zack snack. Let's see. I'm trying to look at some more of the recent Pixar stuff. They did that movie Luca, but that was straight to a streaming service. It was like the Little Mermaid kind of thing. It was like this kid finds a mermaid and it comes out of the water, and when it does, it looks human.
I see you.
It was pretty cute. Turning Red was that was a good one for Pixar, right? Well received, but straight to streaming. It seems like they do better with their straight to streaming ones. They just dump on the streaming.
Are those full length films, though, Mark? That you're talking about? Or are they? Because I know they do a lot of shorts, right?
Yeah, Kyle, did you watch Turning Red? That cartoon on Disney.
Turning Red. Okay, so I believe that's one with an Asian character that's actually based in Toronto.
My wife said it's about a girl getting her period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I liked it.
But she liked it.
That's the one. It's an Asian girl, and it's based in the city of Toronto. And it's I never saw it. I'm only talking about it because Canadian media went into a feeding frenzy, and then it bombed too.
Yeah.
I think Pixar can't get Toy Story 4 out fast enough.
6, 5.
It is 5, isn't it? Is it 4? I thought they had more than 3 out
4.
now.
I believe they have 4 done.
Oh, maybe it's 5 then. They're doing another one, whatever.
I wonder if they're going to continue like what they've done with Andy, kind of growing up and just seeing the progression, and like he's going to be like old shot out 37-year-old now, and he goes and he tries to steal his toys back to sell them in a pawn shop because he needs money for his
Wasn't that
next.
the premise of like the second one? I don't know. I should have Andy focusing on Turok Week. Hello.
There you go.
Turok Week. That's something we could touch on. This is the final day of it. That was actually really, really fun. I put out a video about it, just kind of trying to spread some information this past Wednesday. But over on Instagram, Josh Loves Comics is the name of the account. That last week he ran kind of like a poll to see what book people wanted potentially like get on the shakers and movers list or hit a top 10 list for getting traction. And intentionally a book with like 1 million plus copies is picked, like nowhere along the journey of any of our footprints can we influence enough to make that book actually spike in price. But you can still move a lot of copies. And it, as of Friday, it was successfully on the Cover Price movers and shakers list because they tracked 20 books. And as of last Friday, it was in like the back 10. And Cover Price is roughly a week behind. So it hit that list already just based off like 2 days of people buying it. I picked up a lot of copies. The CGC 9.8, one of the gold label ones. It's just been a blast. It's been fun.
Yeah, because they do not only like the total number of copies sold, but they do the percentage change from week to week as well.
Yeah.
And so if it only sold like 2 last week and it sells 200 this week, well, that's going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah, it sold a lot of copies. Just judging from eBay alone. I don't know about Macari or anywhere else in track sales. And that's the catch. Like if you bought one or participated from your LCS or something, that won't like go into doing that. But if you shared it out, like that was the best way to participate. It's just that, like I love Turok. I like Chris is the same. Like me and Chris have a long history with Turok.
Yes.
Never do I participate in like little IG things like that. And I always want to be more active in IG. And I'm like, yo, wait a minute. I'm going to go balls deep in this if they pick Turok because it came down to a poll that you voted on, and sure enough, it was Turok. So like I ended up I saved this one for today. This was the first comic that my dad ever bought. That's got him started collecting in 1963, and Pops got it graded and gave it to me as a birthday present last week or last year.
This was the first comic I found from my father's collection after he passed away. Singularly, I thought this was the only book that I would ever find. It was Turok, and I remember him talking about Turok because my father liked Westerns, as most of you know, but every so often he would get into superheroes and sci-fi and stuff, and Turok is a perfect combination of Western sci-fi stuff. Yeah.
I'm with you, William. I'm so with you on that one. Like sometimes it just takes someone to say it plainly, just like, yeah, it sounds ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
What is that? You made sweet potato fries?
They're leftovers.
Oh, that's from work. I want one. Thank you. That's good. Oh, you give me the whole plate? Oh, swag.
I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I found it.
Good.
But yeah, actually, the Valiant Turok, everyone that's picking up #1 as a lark, as a joke kind of thing, that run is actually really well done. It ties in well to Harbinger, Archer and Armstrong, and Magnus Robot Fighter. Valiant was actually putting out a lot of good product in the early 90s. However, the amount that they were doing is what is where the joke comes in. But Turok actually has a very rich history, and I'm not going to say it's quintessential to the history of comic books at all. It's not. But the character is something that's been around for well over 70 years. People may not realize that.
Yeah, 1954. I would say that he is, like, because Dell was massively important.
Yep.
I think it's so easy for us, like me as a DC diehard, to have tunnel vision on like the DC history of comics and what's important, or like as I'm reading new stuff, it sparks your fandom of like past events, and you really start to forget how vast comics have been from the beginning, from the jump, and how without things like MLJ's The Shield, you wouldn't have Captain America all the way back to the early 40s. Like it's crazy how important everything is to things that come after. Like modern comics stand on the backs of the giants that came before them. They really did. It's something that's built. And it's crazy to think of like how many of the creators have worked on a lot of this stuff along the way that you wouldn't ever know, like cut their teeth at Charlton Comics and stuff like that. It's just wild.
But yeah, Turok is special because it's one of the first, if not the first, starring indigenous characters. So, just, yeah, again, pretty important.
I don't know if he's the first, but he's got to be early.
Yeah,
like
very, very early. Very, very early with some of the most beautiful painted covers you'd ever see, especially from that Dell run. DVH is saying, is Turok with anyone at the moment? I think he's still with Valiant, is he not?
He's owned by Valiant. I don't think they're putting anything out right now. Valiant's doing very little, not doing very good. That EXO run that they're doing is fantastic, but it's going to be short-lived as well.
It's the only thing that they're publishing right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see him go to IDW or, just it could be some interesting stories being told.
Yeah, I'm not participating in this movie. Not for me. If this is the movie that moms want to take girls or their daughters of the right age to see, sounds fine. But otherwise, it sounds like something that should be in South Park with TVMA on it. Chris.
Mark?
I gave up on Secret Invasion.
Okay.
Mainly because I had a busy week. I'm
Okay.
not like, oh, this show's trash, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'm more like, the show's trash, I'll watch it when I can, and I haven't had a chance to.
Okay.
So please spoil this most recent episode. Catch me up so I can just try to jump on to the next one next.
Okay. I will try to be as brief as possible. Paul, are you watching it, or do you have any interest whatsoever?
I am not. So spoil away.
Okay. So the mother dragons get shot and dies in the end of the episode. Thank you. Good night. Whether she dies or not, they presented it because when a Skrull in human form gets shot and die, they revert back to being in their natural type. Well, the big bad guy is basically trying to fish out who is a leak. And apparently what's happened is that the mother of dragons has been leaking to her father, Talos, some information. And the big bad guy found out that it was her. And the final scene is she gets clipped and drops, and you see her shapeshift back into her normal form. And then it's, roll credits. Again, they're presenting more of the fact that Samuel L. Jackson might be married to a Skrull or is willingly into a relationship with
he's banging that Skrull.
He's into the green ladies, which is fine. Hey man, whatever floats your boat.
He's scrolling away.
Ain't the fact she's green, it's just the fact she's a Skrull.
That's pretty good.
He's scrolling away.
And they're still presenting hints that Rhodey or this incarnation of Rhodey might be a Skrull, or at this point really is a Skrull. And
he called him Nick. He called him Nick. You caught that?
They called him Nick, and Fury's like, no one calls me Nick. And but yeah, it's not bad, it's not great, it's somewhere in between. It's right along with Falcon and Winter Soldier at this point, minus the action. Same dark screen over everything.
I wasn't really.
I had hopes that it would be really good, but it's. I don't want to say it's silly, but it's trying too hard, in my opinion, to be suspenseful when it doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't have its own identity yet.
Well, they better figure it out. They're running out of episodes.
Yeah, 3 to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the whole show is basically about identities and trying to figure out what's what, right?
Yeah. Well,
the show has the same problem. Is it a show or is it a Skrull?
Yeah.
It's I read an article earlier before I came on the show talking about how people are a little disappointed because Quake hasn't shown up yet.
Daisy?
Yeah, Daisy.
That'd be dope.
That the big hot rumor is at some point Fury's going to turn to some of the former agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that Daisy.
If they bring Ward back?
Daisy now Daisy as Quake will show up, and I think it'd be great. Is it going to save the series? I don't think so. It needs a serious
that would fan
shifting
service
gears.
me enough to praise it, at least for that moment. You bring Ward back, I'm all
Trev. Trev,
How many times did he die on that show? Yeah.
Huh?
So how many times did Ward die on that show? Twice?
Not enough. Bring it back and let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. That was from a better time era.
Yeah,
For
it
me.
was all right. Deathlok was a nice introduction, and then
Ghost Rider, man.
That goes, yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that whole
Robbie Reyes
season.
was fire.
Yeah, they did actually a really good job with that. The whole dark matter thing kind of.
Absorbing Man was awesome.
Yeah.
And who was that villain in the first half of the Ghost Rider scene? Turned blue, had like the blue dread looking things.
Oh.
Eventually fought Mr. Hyde, killed Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde died fighting him, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was like a villain for the Inhumans when they were kind of like building up to the Inhuman stuff. Can't remember. But he was great.
Jumped.
Yeah. I didn't watch the Inhuman spinoff, but I heard that I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Medusa got a haircut in the first episode, and
that makes no sense.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
How was she now an Inhuman?
When they released the two first episodes and they put them in the theater, and it was so boring then, like you knew how bad it was going to be. You know.
Well, did they do that in the States? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They released the first two episodes as a movie in the theaters, and everyone said how boring it was, and it was like it drummed up absolutely no.
Yeah, I thought it went too hard on the royalty aspect of Black Bolt and Medusa and all that, and
it lost all of its momentum. Any momentum it had, any buzz it had, was totally gone after everyone said how bad the two first episodes were.
That sucks, man. To be honest with you, I don't even know why I didn't watch it. Like, I don't think I even heard buzz about it or anything. Just never hit.
Yeah, it was. Who's that dude that was a part of the Battle of the Bastards that lost? By the way, he was the primary bad guy in the Humans. In the Inhumans, and
Theon Greyjoy. No, I know you're talking about. The one that it was like made Theon his B word.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that actor.
Let me get this pulled up. This is going to take me a second, but this is going to be well worth it. Let's see. Medium, do that. Do this.
Yeah, but Mark, earlier you mentioned fan servicing. Like, since the last Spider-Man movie, which did it well, it's been a little over the top with the fan servicing at this point. It's time for some original comic book type of creation when it comes to larger media, whether it's television or film. Yeah.
But it sounds like they're going to be doing more fan service, if the rumors are true, in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Well done.
Done. Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Tell us about the fan service that we could be seeing in Deadpool 3.
Could it be the Deadpool kills the Marvel universe? Is that what we're looking at?
Kills the Fox
Wouldn't
universe,
that be awesome, though?
Yeah, because you already have Wolverine, and now there's supposedly Jennifer Garner supposedly filmed something.
Ben Affleck.
We had maybe Ben Affleck, possibly Colin Farrell, and there was one other one that was actually the first one that I saw, and I can't think of who it was now, but there's one more that was announced at the beginning of the week that supposedly was a rumor that he had filmed something, and I can't think who it was now. But yeah, so is it going to be? I
thought it was some of the other X-Men. James Marsden, who played Cyclops, and Femke Janssen. Is that how you say her name? Femke Janssen, who played Phoenix. Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, I believe Cable's confirmed, right? Like they confirmed that too. Like
Domino isn't returning. Yeah, Domino's not coming back. No,
she was so cool.
Oh yeah,
that was lucky superpower. Won't even look good.
What's her name? Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz.
She did a great job as Domino.
Mm-hmm. Then she was in the Joker movie and did fantastic over there too. Yeah. Well, yeah. Ghost Rider. Oh, Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. That would be funny. But yeah, I think that might be the direction you're going with. You know how they like play and get meta with the Deadpool stuff, and if they do it right, that seems like something that would be right on brand to get a final Deadpool movie and let him be what kills the Fox universe. You know, like they haven't closed the book on it yet. You know, like we know like they bought it. Now they want to move it over. Channing
Tatum.
Young.
That was the one I was trying to think of. Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Young as Gambit. Yeah,
But
that's
he was
rumored
never
and maybe
Gambit,
never.
though.
Yeah, but
he
he
never
was
has
cast.
been. But he was
Right.
Yeah, he was cast for
Never
years.
came to be.
Right. But we have that young guy from Friday Night Lights, the movie, who was Gambit
Yeah.
in
John Carter himself.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Yep.
From
Channing Tatum was
X-Men
the one I was
Origins.
trying to think of.
Right.
Yep.
But that's still, if I remember Mark saying, if this is real, the still of Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit looked terrific.
Yeah, and I believe that was the yellow suit from an upcoming video game that they just like did some fancy, nice looking
okay.
Photoshop. But yeah, I'm all for Channing Tatum coming in as Gambit. I definitely want to see the yellow suit Wolverine. I think that would make Deadpool. Deadpool's supposed to be fun over everything, you know. And if you're going to a Deadpool
over
movie,
the top,
yeah, and then they find, and through it all, they find a way for it to have heart. You know what I mean? Then that's one of those franchises that it works for. Yeah, the Battleship dude. Yeah,
that's right.
John Carter and Tarzan fight aliens. I love that movie, Battleship. It was so cool.
It's so bad.
I loved it. You're not sinking this battleship, no way. We're gonna fire on Wahoo. Oh, somebody gonna kick the donkey. When they got the veterans out,
even the missiles look like the little pigs.
Yeah, it was fun. It was so cool. I saw that. I remember I went to the $2 theater. You know, after everything has its primary run, it would hit a discount theater. I went there one Saturday and watched Battleship, and then killed like 20 minutes and went right back in and watched Cabin in the Woods. And back to back, it was a fantastic day.
No movie took more of a left turn than Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, it sure did.
It's like whoop.
Yeah, when Thor gave that big rousing speech, how he's going to jump this canyon and come back with help, and he just hits the invisible wall and falls to his death. That was hilarious. That was good. Battleship was tremendous fun. Way better than it had any right to be. Yeah, I've watched it numerous times at this point. What's going on, Soul Twice? How's it going?
Fromage.
All right, here we go. Getting into some questionable territory here. Something happened this past week. Something that made me very uncomfortable. Like it felt wrong. I knew I was doing something I shouldn't be doing, but I did it anyways. I buckled up, I toughed through and made it to the end of both episodes. And what I'm talking about is none other than Anime Superman. My Adventures with Superman premiered on Max/Adult Swim this past Thursday. They dropped the first 2 episodes, roughly 22 minutes apiece, introducing us to this new Anime Superman. Super weird. I'm so sorry. I'm not an anime fan, and if you wonder why, go watch that show. So it was awkward. It was weird. It was familiar, like it's Superman, but it's definitely Anime Superman. I can't stand how whimsically goofy, lighthearted characters are, and how they move and talk. The voice casting is going to take some getting used to. The actual animation I'm assuming it's good. I don't know other animated to compare it to. But when they're in motion, they feel like they're in motion. When they're fighting, it's definitely decent action and stuff. Seeing the designs of characters and stuff is interesting. You know, we had a couple of more than just Superman pop up in it, at least.
As someone that thoroughly loves the Harley Quinn animated series,
Not the same.
so what you're saying is I could be disappointed.
Yo, I didn't say animated. I love animated films. Harley Quinn is fantastic.
Harley Quinn is
is
by herself.
Yeah, like
Right.
I have a hard time with anime. Like I've never gotten into anime and mangas and all that stuff.
Really,
And this
it's
is
like Akira and Ghost in the Shell. Some of those
No,
classics.
That's anime. Yep.
Hold it there. Akira's fire. I watched that as a kid,
Right.
but I don't sit there and rewatch it and brush my teeth to it. That was definitely a good movie. I also saw this anime called
My
Lily.
Hero Academia. Sorry.
Yeah, no, skip on that one. My daughter tells me enough about anime, but getting past this, like my personal hangups with the animation style of Japanese animated features, and it was still weird. Like we have Superman like floating in the air out of nowhere and just flexes, and he just charges with blue, and his suit just is on him, and his cape just materializes out of nothing, and he kept teasing this. I thought he was going to go electric blue, and I'm so fed up with being teased with electric blue Superman this year. But that kind of got me excited, I'll be honest. And there was another part in the end of the second episode. It kind of seemed like he was dealing with Livewire. Was that Livewire, Paul?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, a girl with electric abilities causing chaos. And by the second episode, she's sitting down meeting with what she assumes is a government agency that's going to come after her, trying to figure out how to move forward. And it's actually Deathstroke. Deathstroke, who looks like a 14-year-old boy with blonde hair covering one of his eyes. I was just waiting on him to pull out a 37-foot sword at any minute. Luckily, he didn't. And they got into a little skirmish. Superman pops up, saves the day. By the end of the fight, she's laying on the ground, and Superman's talking to excessive Lois and Jimmy, and she scurries off and gets away. We find out at the end of the episode that she's now in custody of the government agency, and they're questioning her, and she quickly realizes that she's not in possession by the government, but Amanda Waller's on the other side of the glass, and Task Force X have her. So I'm like, no, now I'm stuck watching this.
Oh,
yeah. So they're
game changer.
Yeah, and then they're bringing Task Force X and the squad at the end. So of course I'm going to continue watching it now. But I hope that I'm talking a bunch of crap, but it seemed decent, like for what it is. And talking to Durs and Tyler, they said this is kind of like, this ain't like super anime-y, and like they see elements of both like Western animation and Japanese animation.
Well, yeah, because if you take a look at Perry White does not have the anime face and everything. The anime face has that very like the nose kind of curves to a point and then it comes down. Yeah,
they look like a chimp.
Exactly, but like Perry White has a non-anime looking face, so not everyone is drawn that way.
So is Lois already the love interest in this?
Yeah, she's crushing hard on Superman, like smitten.
Right.
Like not even on Superman, but on Clark, like smitten, goofy. Like it's affecting her work in the first 10 minutes. It's smitten. Like, don't you tell him, Jimmy?
Like, check it out.
It's insufferable.
You had me at Amanda Waller, so
yeah,
that's it. Now I'm in. But
I didn't know how he didn't even know how to use his powers in the opening scene.
So did you watch the War for Cybertron at all, then, Mark? Because that's all anime.
I'm sorry. Wait, what?
The War for Cybertron, the Netflix Transformers series. I believe there's 3 or 4 seasons of that, and that's all anime. But it is excellent stuff.
I've pointed out, like, when it comes to me and Transformers, I'm a Michael Bay guy, 100% through and through. I would defend it to my last dying breath that I love that franchise. Watch it over and over and over and over again, and I'm just now expanding, like Dr. Von Hoot, Flash by Night, TM. Now I watched Beast Wars growing up. That's what was coming on, and I've gone back with Finn, and he watches Transformers. I sit down and catch little pieces of stuff that he's watching, but I'm going back and actually like filling that gap of knowledge and stuff. And I actually, I don't know if you saw that community tab post, but I own issues 1 through 50 and even 2 copies of number 1 because I bought one slab, so I had to get one raw to read. And I just finished reading the original 4 issues last night, so I'm going to burn through these 80 issues, and then I'm going to start diving into some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
I also thought that the scene in Fortress of Solitude, that whole thing I thought that was pretty good as well. I mean,
yeah, I agree. It was cool seeing how Jor-El was just unapologetically just speaking Kryptonian. Like there's,
exactly.
Like, you didn't think to put that one other crystal in here where he can understand what you're saying.
Okay. So Kal-El cannot understand Kryptonian then?
Nope.
Oh,
not yet.
Now that's a great twist.
Yeah, well, obviously he wouldn't understand Well, no, because like typically, historically, like he's like learning the whole time that he's traveling from Krypton, and even then, the crystals. Like if you want to like do the little history when he is introduced to it by the Kents in a shuttle, like Jor-El wasn't an idiot. He knew the planet he was sending him to. You know what I'm saying? He has like all the language and stuff, but but no, not this. He just this big hologram pops up speaking some kind of crazy language and almost kills Ma Kent. Bunch of Keelixes.
Don't mess with his mom though.
Yeah, super. Like not even just aimed toward adults, only aimed toward thick-skinned adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
It not only aims towards adults, it hits them Bullseye.
Yeah,
Right.
Bullseye.
Yeah. If you are very political, do not watch Harley Quinn.
Only anime I watch is hentai. Fire.
Pretty good.
It was Livewire and Inning Hatter and Waller's custody. Yeah, I was excited with that Task Force X ending. Why is Jimmy the same age as everyone else? Why is everyone the same age as everyone else? I guess it's an anime thing. Why is Deathstroke 14?
Hey, he's supposed to be like aged.
Yeah, well, I think it's just the anime style. For all we know, he's 53. It's
Well,
just the
that's
anime.
just it. Like every time there's a new Spider-Man cartoon, there's always complaints like, "Oh, Peter looks like this. He's not a nerd, or he's not a geek, or anything, and he's too good looking, and the art styles, whatever. The villains don't look like that, or whatever." It's just geared for a new generation. That's
I got to tell you, like when it comes to anime, this just hit. It's a very different take on history. It's very fun. Like there's plenty of anime, and this whole I'm a sucker for the eyes. Like I watch tons of Studio Ghibli stuff, like all the Miyazaki, isn't that it? That
Yep.
animation studio. Like I've watched all of those, most of them numerous times. I grew up watching My Neighbor
Spirited
Totoro
Away.
and Howl's Moving Castle. Like I rented them numerous times. Like always loved those. And then my oldest daughter come up loving them. And when Max launched initially with its own Studio Ghibli tab, like that's all my oldest watched over and over. I mean, seen all of those. Ponyo, Porco Roscoe, like all those. Yeah, I like the. I mean, everything's a different take on it and everything, but I think for me another hurdle has to be that we just finished season 3 of probably the best superhero season that's ever aired, and I'm talking this was better than Peacemaker. Just being honest here, but Superman and Lois has just set a bar, just not just for what I watch, but in my mind of what I expect from Superman quality stories, and this just feels like 10 steps backwards. I know it's a different format, medium, and animation, but it was just an abrupt shift for me. But I'm going to hang in there. I'll hang in there. Again, the action sequences, you could feel it. Like,
Yeah. And I think, the first episode has to do a lot of that setting up everything too, so you don't necessarily get a lot of the action stuff in the first episode either. So
I was just,
we definitely have a lot more in the second one.
I was waiting for someone to run like that, you know what I mean, with their hands back.
Now they haven't teased Doomsday at all, have they? Like
No.
they haven't gone down. Okay, there's so
I don't
many
think it was
other
what it-
fun
it
villains. It doesn't
enabled
have to be
him.
Doomsday every damn time.
I think it's just like that was just showing us when he first really like was able to act, like gain control over it. It was like the whole Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk moment. It had to be something that when he just quit thinking, he just reacted, and he was able to kind of hit those potentials. They only made 2 good ones, LOL. I would argue he made more than that. 1 was fantastic, 3 was fire, 4 is probably my favorite. Bring on the Dinobots. Esteban, what is going on, brother? Yeah, I'm not tone deaf though. I understand why some people dislike those movies, but 2 was a writer's strike film, and the last night I don't understand why people don't like, or at least the level of hate that it gets. Yeah, so that's where me and Finn watch it. Like most of the Transformers stuff is all running on YouTube 24/7. Every day of the week, just in order. And you can go in and just pick your episode you want to watch as well from the actual people who own it. It's not pirated or anything there, but yeah, I kind of paused on watching it, and I want to start at the beginning, at least the first 2 seasons, then the movie, because the movie's like a finale to the first 2 seasons of Transformers. But I'll probably be through the comics before I do that. Yeah, everyone loves that first Transformers movie.
It had the touch.
Yeah, I've got that. I got that Generation 2 volume as well. This is not your father's Transformers. That's like the little tagline on it. It looks hardcore. Yeah, Harley's fantastic. If you're thin-skinned, don't watch it.
It's like
Yeah.
For the love interest over the last season, I just kind of thought, certain people may not like that.
Yo, Jonathan, wait till you go back and yeah, dude, that show progresses. Like season 2, especially with what's her name, like Annie or Amy or something, the parasite lady. Mm-hmm. Some of that stuff with her and her little organization gets a little slow, but all in all, that third season was just flawless.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll do everything.
Yeah,
From the
that
root over.
ending. Man, what else happened this week? I've just been like doing Turok week all week. What did I miss? Nothing, apparently.
No.
Yeah, no big announcements. Well, I guess we kind of touched on it already. You guys watch the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I didn't go back and watch it. I fired it up one day at work, and I completely forgot about it.
Oh.
With Bane going to town, no, but Bane's one of the funniest characters in that show.
Oh,
His voice.
So good. He's so good. He's so good. And the Joker trying to be the good stepdad. Oh, that's just priceless. They're having a lot of fun doing that show.
Yeah, do we know if it's coming back for another season by any chance?
Yes.
It's been renewed, yeah.
They think that may be one of the only things that Max talks about at San Diego Comic-Con is Harley Quinn.
Let me see if I can find something here. Nothing. Yeah, no news. Night Terrors. Night Terrors. That's what's going on. Yeah, I'm working out the details to try to attempt to go. Work is crazy because everything's kind of getting accordioned into the next week and a half before vacation. And I would hate to see Mission Impossible on anything but an IMAX.
That opens tomorrow night, right?
Really?
Tuesday. It's set for a Wednesday release, so those early evening screenings start Tuesday. So me and the wife are going to attempt to go Tuesday evening, but we haven't started. We just got done kind of talking about a potential plan, so we have to make some phone calls and see what we can arrange for the kids. Oh, well, God, I guess it is tomorrow.
We're going to say tomorrow night, 7 o'clock is the early opening, and then it opens on Tuesday, I believe.
Well, then I have that backwards. So I need to see what her schedule is tomorrow then and see if I can't go tomorrow because I'm off Tuesday. That'd be a lot.
On a Tuesday. Is there a holiday in the States?
No, Tom Cruise is just a genius for one because in this crowded season, Christopher Nolan beat him to the IMAX screens, to the book of the IMAX screen. So he only has a limited window to get his movie into IMAXs where ticket prices are more, and he has the film how he legitimately wants people to see it. So I guess he's just taking every opportunity he can and backing it out as far as he can.
Now, speaking of Oppenheimer, have you guys
What time are you going, John?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of Oppenheimer, did you hear that it's filmed with a special lens and that not every theater will actually show the film properly as the director intended it, and that not every IMAX theater can handle it either.
Only so what it is, it's the biggest reel that's done for IMAX, and when it's all in all put on one spool, it's 600 pounds of film. Right. So that's just like to give it the most optimal effect. So when people say I can watch it at home in my 4K TV, blah blah blah, for context, like 4K has like just I believe it's 4,000 pixel resolutions for whatever size. Those IMAXs that he's using is comparable to like 50 or 100,000. Like it's not even close. It's light years
away.
Yeah, light years beyond what people look at home.
Yeah.
If you took like something that you see at home and put that in like a bigger format like that, it would just look ridiculous. It would look bad. 7 p.m. So I don't get off work till 6. So I'll see what I can finagle. 7 p.m. I just go straight over there after work. And that's tomorrow? God. I'll be covered in dog hair and sweat. Will you accept me?
Agent Carter's in this one.
Yeah, Haley Atwell's in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then just because you said her name. Rebecca Ferguson, that's it. Rebecca Ferguson is returning as well. She's fantastic. She's been like the last two of them. She's also in like The Greatest Showman, the redhead.
Okay.
She's fantastic. What is going on, Brother John's Comics? Only 30 theaters will screen Oppenheimer as meant to be seen in that special top of the line.
Oh.
That's how many of those projectors are out there. film
sure
is
it'll be
much
at a-
higher resolution than digital anyways. There's always compression. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yo, I did too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Avatar 2, it blew me away in theaters. Now, when that movie came out on digital, because it just came out on physical like a week or two ago. When it
Okay.
came out on digital, I bought it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this. As soon as I turned it on with like my full like ultra HD setup, I'm like, dude, this looks crazy. That faster frame rate, it's noticeable. Yes, ma'am. What time do you work tomorrow?
I don't know.
Hey, right now he's talking. He's negotiating going to see Mission Impossible. Right now.
We had the Mission
Kyle might be a Tom Cruise fan anyway.
Exactly.
actually comes out Tuesday, so that means the evening showings start Monday. So do you want to go try to hit it tomorrow evening since we have nothing else going on and we're both off Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
There it is. All right. I'll
Do you
call.
wanna try to go to Richardson's Lake Tuesday instead of swimming at Aunt Lucy's?
Oh, I'm cool with wherever, but I'm saying Monday comes before Tuesday, so
Oh.
I need to know if you're cool for that. It's 7 p.m. at
What's
Riverwalk.
GTX?
Grand Theater Experience. It's the
Yeah, that's
equivalent.
the name of the theater. Yeah.
No, it's Georgia Theater Company is a theater company in Georgia, which I'm sure there's comparable ones in other states. But GTX is the name of their IMAX size screen. It has the Dolby Atmos sound system.
Yeah.
Coke, Pepsi kind of thing.
And you're absolutely correct. This week, Monday does come before Tuesday.
This week it does.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Be careful for smarts though. Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
And
what's mom doing
those
tomorrow?
are weird
She
months.
thinks she might want to hang out with the kids.
Probably.
All right. Well, I'll message her when I get off of this. I'll just call her. Like, wake up. I have a question.
Wake up. Put on a little makeup.
Jonathan, we should be there. Hopefully. But it's at 7, so I would have to like go straight from work kind of thing. Or unless I have time to rush home and get back up there, I think. Maybe. A lot of trailers and stuff.
So when does Oppenheimer drop then?
2 weeks from Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's one that you're going to have to see in theaters. And I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff. He has 0 CG shots. And what that means is like the computer made 100% of what you're looking at on the screen. I believe there's going to be stuff augmented with it, but I actually saw like this 10-foot tall model thing that they were filming that looks like a mushroom cloud forming. Like, and they're walking around it and stuff. Like, yo, they're going crazy with this.
Go lay down.
Yeah, he's swinging for the fences for award season.
Yeah, I don't know if like that thing. I think like it's called like pass restricted. Like some
Yeah,
films.
A lot of movies do that. At first, they have a thing with the theaters, like the first 2 weeks, you can't use passes. You have to pay full price and everything. And none of the discounts can apply until like 2 weeks after for the really big movies.
Yeah. After what Maverick did, he can call his own shots, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Maverick saved movies last year as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because Avatar definitely didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, Maverick was out before Avatar.
It was, and it had I believe it had an overall longer run as well.
Yeah.
Like, those two movies were like that was it for last year. Like when it comes to like name what impressed the box office or name what like that was it. There was other cool stuff, but that was it for peak.
Well,
Oppenheimer won't be shown in Japan or China because what the movie is about. That's understandable.
Speaking of that, it's funny that you mentioned that because there is not only, I mean, I was reading that the movie Barbie will not be shown in some countries because there's a map that's shown, and because of the delineation of what it has on the map, like the China, the South China Sea,
Taiwan thing,
like China claims it, but then Vietnam claims it too, and the Philippines claims it, and it's like, and
the world's
there's a
getting
map
so
that shows
petty
it.
these days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how can you not show Barbie? I mean, come on. How's Barbie?
They make the toys over there, right? They come from China
exactly.
or made in Taiwan or something. That's wild. That's wild. Y'all want to talk some comics?
Sure.
Dude, now I'm thinking maybe
I
I'm
thought we were
seeing
going down the Barbie wormhole for a minute. Okay.
Oh, hit it. You got something to add on the Barbie? I know you collected them a lot and played with them still to this day. So you tell us.
It's true. It pissed me off though that Ken's hair was already sculpted and stuff. I didn't like the fact that you couldn't comb his hair, but you know, he always had his underwear on at least.
He never leaves home without his rollerblades. Cruise has been walking softly and swinging a big stick for a long time. Collateral was going to be shot in Canada, but when Cruise signed on, he literally said, "No, we're doing this in LA." Yo, that's 100% how it goes. You know, in his entire career, he's only had one box office flop, and it's to this day regarded as a cult classic favorite. And it was Legend with Tim Curry's Devil and everything. Like, that movie's highly praised now, but at the time it was a box office flop. But that flop led him to Maverick. Hits the other one. What is it?
The Universal monster movie he made.
Mummy
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
dark.
that one.
Yeah, that one didn't do good. But did that one actually flop though?
Yeah, well,
Well,
it was supposed to launch the whole
Right.
universe, right?
And it
Mhm.
never to be heard from again. They even
Yeah.
had actors sign on and everything.
Yeah, Johnny Depp was the Invisible Man and stuff like that.
Javier Bardem was supposed to be in it. But Valkyrie didn't do that well. But yeah, that would be after All the Right Moves. He did that one, and that was his flop. But still, but he already had different films in the pocket. Like the one that he filmed with Paul Newman was already lined up, good to go.
So
Before
it didn't
Legend
flop.
dropped.
So the mummy didn't flop.
The color of money.
The Color of Money, right?
So the mummy didn't flop. It had a 190 budget and a 410 box.
Okay.
More than doubled it. So
to me, that would be more than enough to roll the dice on the second, at least the second issue or second volume of where you're going to go from there.
Jekyll and Hyde in that was fantastic, and I love that movie. Who's that actor who plays Peter B. Parker in Spider-Verse? How he was like Tom Cruise's like his partner.
Jake.
My wife can tell you his name. She loves him from New Girl or something.
Yeah, I forget his last name. Jake is his first name for sure. But yeah, the New Girl, the guy.
I think they're still trying to make. I grew up like a big fan of the Universal Horror Monsters. I got like all this stuff on Blu-ray when they did it, and I was excited for that. I remember watching the Universal scroll thing around. Then it just kept going, and it went dark. And said Dark Universe. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm all in for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't do good enough for them to roll the dice, and dude, that was at a time too when like Marvel was
planking.
They were planking. So like for whatever it's worth, man, like that franchise, that entire brand was doing so well, nothing else had room to do that well, and everyone was trying to measure their success by that, and they were wrong for trying. You gotta think how many people were speaking out not long after that, like, yo, we can't make movies for y'all anymore because y'all won't see them or won't get behind them or won't try them. Roland Emmerich came out and said original screenwriting is dead while Marvel's doing this. Not in a bad way, but while Marvel's got this kind of momentum and stuff, no one wants anything else. And thankfully, like, honest to God, I think we're past that now. Like, people aren't just settling for just whatever superhero stuff comes out. And it's not just Marvel, DC, whatever. It's not a layup just because it's a comic book movie anymore.
Bring on Invincible.
Yeah, it's the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, that 190 does not include marketing. That's why the movie actually grossed after marketing and everything $80.2 million. So 190 times 2, but in all reality, they're probably being very generous with that because one thing they never put in there is the cost of reshoots or any kind of deals that they might have with the actors. But knowing Tom Cruise, I don't know if he has like a Robert Downey Jr. contract. That's really a Disney unique thing they do with these actors because of the long-term commitment.
The difficult thing that some producers have with Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise does not lend his image to any toys or any collectibles on the secondary market that way. So that was the one drawback that Universal was strongly had issues with, is they couldn't sell any toys or anything tied to that movie because Tom Cruise refused to lend his image to anything like that. And those movies, those Universal monster movies, are known because of the collectibles that have come forward since.
Forever, yeah.
Like the Bela Lugosi stuff, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, all those are highly collectible with a certain type of pulp culture. And Tom Cruise, for whatever reason, with all his films, refuses to allow his image outside of the movie posters.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
If you think about it, there is no Tom Cruise action figures whatsoever. There's no Maverick. There's no nothing because he doesn't allow it.
So then the
And
smart
that's
thing
the
would have
one.
been to make Tom Cruise the Invisible Man and put somebody else in there, right?
They
Well,
messed up.
we
They
had
had Johnny Depp. They could have flipped them around.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
the one that had me most exciting is they had Javier Bardem cast
Yep.
for Frankenstein's
Yep.
monster.
Javier
That would have
Bardem.
been
Great actor.
like
Great
he
actor.
already played him in what was it, No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Just walking around.
That Pete Rose
Oh, dude! If
haircut.
you've never
Yeah.
watched it, it's a
Yeah, it's
blast.
fun.
Dr.
It's
Boone.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
action. It's Mission Impossible with supernatural. That's literally what it is. Tom Cruise and Jake B. Parker, whatever his name is, they're working in Afghanistan as thieves. Like they have military rank, and they're like what is it called? Contractors, pretty much, and they're trying to rush and go in ahead of soldiers and stuff and ransack cities for treasures, and they stumble upon this. Oh my God, yes. They stumble upon the tomb, and it goes haywire. And the mummy,
The camel chase, that's all good stuff.
dude,
Yeah.
and the twist at the end, they turn Tom Cruise into part of the supernatural universe. He starts off as a human. He does not end the movie as a human. It's wicked. And that plane crash, you go from in the plane all the way to the crash, like hanging on for dear life. It was nuts.
It's up there with Superman Returns for plane crashes.
Yeah, that one landed softer. Good night, Durs. Hope you have a good one. Yeah, give it a go. You'll like it better than Transformers.
All right. But yeah, that's a fact about Tom Cruise, that why some producers or some marketers don't like working with him, because there's no extra money to try and recoup for costs, because there's no licensing with his films outside for toys and collectibles, which is a very large portion of stuff.
He even goes Mr. Hyde and everything.
Yeah. He actually did a good job too. He didn't take it wasn't campy. I didn't think it was silly. They everyone involved in that film took it very seriously, especially Russell Crowe.
Yeah, now I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Jake Johnson, thank you, William. That's it.
There it is.
Yes.
Kyle just calls him by the name that he is in the New Girl.
That TV show. Yeah, he has a good voice for Spider-Man. Paul, have you seen the new Spider-Verse?
Nick, that's him. Nick in the New Girl.
Yeah. So apparently there's different versions of Spider-Verse, the one that just came out.
Yeah, I heard that. Wow. Like they're showing different versions in different theaters. I wonder how much it's altered or changed.
Yeah. That'll be
and how dumb is that?
Oh, stop it.
Now, time out.
Stop it now.
How do you feel about extended cut DVDs? How do you feel about ultimate cut on video and not getting the full movie in the theater the first time you watch it? How do you feel about that?
It just shows how much Warner Brothers doesn't have faith in their directors.
You have for years talked about and I agree with you. Like, don't sell me on the physical media after you already broke my heart in the theater. You know what I mean? Show me the original intended version when I sit down to watch it first time.
Batman versus Superman would be greatly adored if we had the proper Snyder cut for that one.
100% agree.
Like, why is it Tarantino's the only one that can flex and say this? I'm making a 4-hour campaign, release it, and they're all like, "No problem, man, no problem." Why is Tarantino the only one that can do this?
I don't know. Because I guess he's just got a status where if he's coming in to do something, you're not messing with his vision kind of thing.
Because originally Weinstein saw what it was worth it. And
he must be a genius. Who is this you're talking about?
Right. Well, I'm just saying, back then, Weinstein took the reins off and just let him have at it. And that's why, outside of Destiny Changes the Radio, or turns out, whatever that one was called, everyone has been these 3-hour minimum epics.
And I like it. Speaking of that, first off, Aggressively Relaxing is making a video about Pinocchio's box office failure in the style of the transatlantic World War II radio broadcasts. Do not miss that. That's going to be a banger. Suck it up, old man. That's the cover I got as well. So you're one of the lucky ones that got a copy this year.
What is there more than one cover?
There are. Comicx Head 84 did a variant as for him, and he was working on trying to get a few more printed, and he was doing a new cover for it to bring this year, but it wasn't made in time. He actually got a picture of the carpet from the Charlotte Convention Center and incorporated it into the cover because he wanted it to be like the People of Heroes Con thing.
The Heroes Con exclusive.
Yeah. There's always next year.
AR is a good
What is
dude.
going on, Panda Awesome 316? My man, hope you're doing good. 6 different versions are out in theaters. Holy crap!
Wow.
Holy crap, Joe! That's a lot. That's like basically taking like the ad lib scenes from the special features and just saying, "No, we'll just spread them out."
It's
That's just a gimmick to get people to go watch it more.
It's like a whole Clue movie.
that was a deep dive there, Paul. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. That does bring me to something I want to talk about. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is finally at the point where it's hitting a lot of social media posts. It's getting covers of magazines. It's 2 parts, and they're going to be doing something very unique with this. Is they're not spacing out the 2 films. They're both full-length, unrestricted Zack Snyder. This is sci-fi epic. It was his idea and kind of along the lines of what he would do for Star Wars. It was never going to fly for them, so they always say if they're not going to let you do it your way for them, do it your way for yourself, and that's what this is. And it's not Star Wars. It's just sci-fi stuff, but any kind of space opera stuff is going to be familiar. Just keep in mind, Star Wars isn't original. It's just Dune, but like it doesn't make it any less. But they're doing 2 parts, and they're only going to be at most a couple of months apart. It's meant to be watched, but they want to give people room to breathe and people time to see it.
Is this a Netflix exclusive, or is it going to be Netflix in theaters as well?
Man, I hope they put it in theaters. I'll go. That's for sure. I believe it's just as of right now, just
Netflix
for Okay. But it looks like it's going to be wild, dude.
I haven't seen a trailer for it yet, actually.
Yeah, they haven't put out like the full length trailer, and I think it's supposed to be coming by the end of this year. Now, when Netflix toward the beginning of the year, maybe 2 months or so into this year, they put out this slate of movies trailer with just like snippets and clippets of all their original movies that will be getting released for the year. And they saved a couple of shots for Rebel Moon for that to be like the big finale of that big trailer package tease. So, so I'm excited for it. Something original, like we were talking about, inspired by Star Wars and Dune and stuff like that. And yeah, we shall see. Let's see. You can hate me. I still haven't seen Top Gun 2. I've seen the first one though. Holy crap! You want to put on gloves when you watch it, like the ones like welding gloves that come up to your elbow. Because about 30 minutes in, is it, Chris? When you're watching Maverick, a bald eagle comes and just lands on you.
That's right.
So be prepared.
Here in Canada, a beaver pitches on your arm. But
just comes up and starts smacking you with its tail.
Yeah, it just smacks you on the tail. You put your arm up, and then he hops up there, and he just wrists there watching Maverick do his thing.
Yeah, that movie was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
You want to talk some silly books?
Let's talk.
Sure.
All right, we're going to do a little flashback to about 20 minutes ago. Night Terrors. Either one of y'all keeping up with Night Terror?
I did not participate in Night Terrors because I've been quietly listening and watching to a deep dive on this handsome devil's YouTube channel. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're not going to participate in Night Terrors, no worries, no issues there. But if you want to actually kind of know what's going on and just keep up with it without having to buy it and read it, Sector 2815 every Monday. That's when him and I have the deep dive that posts on this channel at 10 a.m. And tomorrow's episode, 6 books.
I just have one request.
Yes, sir.
I read the synopsis and a hot take afterwards on the Joker's Night Terrors, and it actually sounds incredible. So when you guys talk about it, can you start with the Joker, please?
We'll do it. I'll tell you what. We won't save it for last. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it 5th.
Okay.
Because we recorded that video days ago.
It's in the can.
Yeah, it's already set the release.
Yeah, so we take a look at the main the first blood, which is the first part of the bookends that will have the four main issues in the middle there, and then we quickly go through. We kind of do like a rapid round where we go into all the tie-ins and everything just kind of quickly. So
Yeah, so the main story takes place in a 6-issue miniseries, Night Terrors 1 through 4, and this book ended with an Alpha Omega issue. And the Alpha issue titled First Blood dropped, and it was surprisingly solid. The premise is cool, like it's not what we've been dealing with. It feels like it's got the scope of touching everything without being the same Dark Crisis this or Death Metal that. And we're dealing with like stuff that touches into like some older history stuff that no one ever touches on, which is really fun. And if you like the supernatural stuff at DC, like it's hitting that area too. It's scratching that itch. So the whole premise of this new villain, Insomnia, is casting shadow of nightmares on the entire world. He's got some massive capabilities, and he just drops everyone to the ground, and they're forced to sleep, and they're living in their nightmares. And what it is an old Justice League villain named Dr. Destiny. He uses the what is it, the Dream Stone as like his source of power. They've made the readers aware for the first time that there's also a Nightmare Stone that's potentially more powerful from the way that it sounds, because he's hidden it in one of the heroes or villains' nightmares to keep it away from everyone, including himself, kind of thing. And Insomnia is after it. So that's the need for the tie-ins. The tie-ins are all of these characters asleep, dealing with their night terrors, while Insomnia is searching them for that MacGuffin.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them are going to be really good. Some of them are going to be kind of pointless. Some of them are going to lend to the story. Some of them are just there because there's an ongoing title that has to have this void filled. And yeah, we had Ravager, Joker, Poison Ivy, Batman, and Black Adam drop this past week. And Ravager and Black Adam were like the same thing, just the two characters in their nightmare fighting to try to make sense of it and get out of it, dealing with some nightmarish creatures. Batman lended heavily to the main story. Poison Ivy couldn't have been more pointless if I wrote it myself. And the Joker, the first 6 pages were fantastic, and the rest I wanted to go full Peddling Pete and just rip it in half.
Like Savage Spider-Man?
Yeah. And we also we throw out a very, what is probably a very far-fetched theory as to who we think Insomnia may be as well.
Yeah, that was a really good twist there too. I was shocked by that. And also, if you guys are interested, if it's something that you might want to collect or go back and read later, if you go watch those videos, drop a comment on them, just like we did with Dark Crisis at the end of the event, which this one's short, just in and out in 2 months. Paul and I are going to, we said we're going to do a live like we did last time. We'll do a live stream, just kind of recapping it, hanging out. And we'll do a live drawing for the entire event.
Oh.
I'm going
Is there a
to
chance? Is there a chance it could be the Batman Who Laughs?
Hey, you never know.
No, he's dead.
I don't know, but I'm going to attempt to get the Lightbox poster and see if that's possible by the time the event gets over, like I did for Dark Crisis. Those things are kind of nice. Those Lightbox posters.
Is it the cover for the Free Comic Book Day poster, or that image?
I think it's the cover it's this one, right? It's the First Blood one, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. The badge.
With the Trinity on your Dead Man, Harley, Sandman, and the question. What's so cool though is Dead Man is our Sherpa through this story. We're trailing.
As he should be.
Yes, exactly.
As he should be. Him or John Constantine.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, we haven't seen Constantine yet, and I'm okay with if we don't, because whenever he shows up, he rightfully so kind of steals the spotlight. So I want to get him.
Has Zatanna shown up then yet?
Yeah. So Zatanna
and she talks backwards.
and talks backwards. God dang it. You know, like all of her dialogue. Whenever I hate it. So whenever Zatanna's casting spells, like all she has to do is speak backwards. To whatever she says backwards is her casting a spell. Yo, just put an asterisk on it and an editor's note. Zatanna's cast spells by speaking backwards, and just let us read it normal. We get it. I don't want to have to sit here and decipher. Like I'm trying to read and like I have to stop, and I can't
Like
help
you're
myself. But
grade
I have
three
to know
trying
what
to
she's
read
saying.
He's
stuff
got his
backwards?
he's got his little decoder ring out trying to figure out what she said.
And every time it tells me to drink more Ovaltine.
That's right, but that's exactly where I was going. Drink more Ovaltine.
Exactly.
You're going to shoot your eye out. Okay.
Yeah, that's all it ever tells me. But yeah, Night Terror stuff. I was going into it. I was like, yeah, I'm a little more excited. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed these. The Batman was wicked, and Black Adam. I said at the beginning, if you're reading a title, if you're into a character, you're more than likely going to enjoy their Night Terror books because it just really adds to what you're already enjoying.
Well, as a listener, I gotta admit, it saddens me to hear that Poison
Holy
Ivy
crap.
wasn't good because Poison Ivy's monthly has been terrific pound for pound for the better
I would
part of a
be
year and a
curious
half.
to know what you think about it then.
Okay.
Because John's Comics with Kids liked it, but he explained why he liked it, and it was all, and I love you, John, it was all ridiculous sounding in my mind. He's like, oh, but they're exploring why she would want to make this decision with Harley and how relationships are toxic. I'm like, it didn't do none of that. It didn't do none of that. She was
But we also do
Kool-Aid.
make that distinction in the video too tomorrow that we do say that if you are a regular reader of Poison Ivy, this may make a lot more sense to you and you may enjoy it more than us who just are coming in and reading these two issues, without really having any backstory. So
it's only the last couple issues where the whole relationship with Harley has been introduced, because the entire first arc was Poison Ivy unleashing this new chemical to these spores to wipe out the planet and have it reimaged in the way that she wanted. But unfortunately, it went out of control. And then it was her trying to dial it all back and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Harley was absent, in my opinion, for the first arc at least. It's only in the last little bit where Harley's been into it, but it hasn't been that campy, over the top Harley. It has been, essentially a love letter to their existing relationship.
So what was weird about it, just kind of spoiling it here, is like all of these nightmares, they know they're in nightmares. They're not like walking around like convinced of reality. They know that they're forced into a nightmare. They know that they need to get out and, like they're fully aware of what's going on in the awake world. They're fighting for their lives. They're, you know what I'm saying? But Poison Ivy wakes up in Pleasantville. Like, you remember that movie Pleasantville? Yep. So she wakes up in Pleasantville, except like Harley's like got like maggots coming out of her mouth and it's foaming. And she's like, Harley, this isn't real. It's like, no, but we're happy. Come in and have cake. Okay, let's do that. I'm like, what? And then literally Janice from HR, whoever that is running around like, we can't do this. This isn't normal. We got to figure out how to get out of here. And Poison Ivy's just like cool with it. Like, let's do this. I'm like, this is freaking ridiculous. I just got here. Start over. Never mind. Talking Night Terrors. Don't start over. We won't, bro. I got you covered. Yeah, it was just. It seemed like G. Willow Wilson did not get the assignment proper. There was like one or two of those in the Worlds Without a Justice Leagues that they did. Like, yo, you didn't get the assignment. This is like the perfect scenario kind of thing, or what they would hope for. And like Wonder Woman hoped to be endlessly fighting a war her whole life. No, that's not true. She hopes for peace, like simple things. Like, and it made me wonder, why does Harley and Ivy like each other? Like, I can tell you why Superman and Clark like each other. I can tell you why Batman and Catwoman like each other.
What is it about Superman and Clark like each other?
Yeah, Superman and Lois. I'm sorry,
because they're the same person.
I get Lois and Clark and Superman and Lois. Those two shows just mess me up. But I understand why those characters like each other. I understand why these do, and I understand why Hal likes Carol and Carol hates to like Hal. But I haven't read enough of Harley and Ivy to know why.
Poison is quintessentially lonely, and the fact that she feels what the image that she sees in the mirror is different from what we do. She thinks that she's not attractive whatsoever. Harley is just a broken soul. The whole Joker thing has left her with massive stress and massive cracks in the foundation. And it's essentially, from Harley's perspective, a sexual thing where she's forcing herself into it more than just sexually. And Poison Ivy is strictly just lonely and wants companionship and is incredibly desperate. That's what I take from it.
And then she just kind of grows on her. I'm just saying, I don't know. Even the animated TV show, just all of a sudden they're just, you know what? Yeah. Like they never actually explored the relationship in the way that like, what about each other does the other one really like what keeps them coming back to each other. Like we know with Joker and Harley, it was like that literal abuse, that infatuation and that abuse and that abuse just like kept it more and more infatuated. Like I can make him like me kind of thing. I can impress him.
Stephanie Phillips has dove into that a little bit in Harley Quinn's monthly, and the whole cracks in the foundation. That's where that comes from. That's what Poison Ivy. Whenever they banter or have arguments, that's what it is. If Joker's name comes up, that's what Poison Ivy points out to her. Like, are you interested in me, or are you interested in me sexually, kind of thing. Yeah.
Jay Medici said he remembers them explaining in the show, so I'm gonna have to go back and man, that's definitely a rewatchable show. I need to go back and watch it again and see if I can catch it. She did something here. The Poison Ivy just hit her with the pheromone. Over with. All right, Night Terrors. We just covered 6 books. That's the lion's share of the week. Y'all got any the book? You got a stack over there, Chris. You haven't spoiled some books over here in a while. Spoiled something. Yeah, there you go. Taylor said sometimes it just takes 2 people not being dicks to each other. Yeah.
Okay. Silly. I'm not a fan of Dan Slott. I may have to give this up.
Time out. I like that cover though. Was that just the regular Spider-Man series?
That Bagley?
Yeah, it's Bags.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice cover.
Yeah, it's still Dan Slott.
Is that the Spider-Boy story going on?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, everyone in the universe, everyone in this world has forgotten that Spider-Man has a sidekick, Spider-Boy, except for Spider-Boy, which leads Peter to believe that he's not telling the truth or whatever. But in this issue, there's a super-powered Electro that goes to take on NYC, and Spider-Man's got his hands full, and then Spider-Boy shows up a la Robin, swinging feet first and takes out Electro, and then it's the whole regurgitation of, don't you remember me? Like I've been around forever. How is this an issue? And so it's just an ongoing story arc that
Where's Spider-Boy been this whole time?
That's just that we'll find out soon. We'll find out soon.
Did you read the Edge of Spider-Verse Spider-Boy origin issue? Is that what that is?
This is the Dream Spider. So I believe that one hasn't come out yet. This one has a short story from Taboo, and I actually like Taboo, but I did not get into this one yet.
Is that the guy from Black Eyed Peas?
Yes. Yeah. He's the one that did that excellent Werewolf by Night miniseries that introduced a new main character as Werewolf by Night, and then he also did the Spider-Man nightmare story that was situated in Los Angeles, which was the best Peter Parker Spider-Man story from last year. I forget what the name of that one was. This was all right. Again, I expect more out of Al Ewing based off what he did with Immortal Hulk, but it had its moments. Dylan Brock really, or I guess Al Ewing is lending Dylan Brock to, some Terminator, or pardon me, some Commando one-liners in this, and it has some fun at the end with Dylan Brock beating up the bad guy. The big twist ending is that the bad guy that's in this that's in this issue reports to Dr. Doom. So Dr. Doom is now going to be brought forth into Dylan Brock's Venom. Again, I don't know why I'm continuing with that.
Serious question.
Is Brian Hitch still drawing that?
Nope. For this issue, the art wasn't bad. It was Box, but let me see what the first name is. Ramon Box.
Okay.
But yeah, the cover art is done by Brian Hitch.
Okay.
So I ordered that Edge of Spider. I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul. No.
I was gonna say, because I know Brian Hitch is also doing Ultimate Innovation, and he's doing the Lex Luthor miniseries with Mark Waid too. So he's pretty busy. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for Chris while the Marvel guys here with the Spider-Man shirt. I pre-ordered the Edge of Spider-Verse issue number 3.
Okay.
And yeah, Edge of Spider-Verse number 3, and it's the Canada Fan Expo exclusive thing or whatever. It's the John Jang set. So that hasn't released yet, street date yet.
Well, you said it's Edge of Spider-Verse?
Edge of Spider-Verse number 3 is the title on the.
This is number 4.
Okay, so that should be coming soon. That's the Spider-Boy issue, at least.
Okay.
That's what was billed as it. That's where he did the cover for it. So I did get Spider-Man number 7, his first appearance, not because he's in it, but they did one of the Japanese Spider-Man, the live action, where he had like from the 70s.
Yes.
They did one of those variants, and I got that because I love that show. It ties into like my Power Ranger fan stuff.
Yes. I like how Spider-Man gained his powers in that season. I haven't read this. I'm actually going to wait for the next issues and read them back to back together. This is Zdarsky's final stand on Daredevil, issue 13 and 14. I thought it was actually going to be this one was his final one, but 13 and 14. This has been very good. The last volume was incredible. I was singing its praises for a very long time. Good luck to whoever takes over Daredevil. Good luck.
So where's Chip going from there at Marvel? I know he's doing Batman at DC,
nothing.
but where's he doing at Marvel?
Nothing. He's leaving Marvel altogether.
Oh wow.
He's gone to DC.
Is he freelance or is he
he's still doing his independent stuff.
He's still doing his independent stuff.
New Burn is coming out very soon, and he has given permission for a new writer to take over Stillwater, as long as Ramon Perez still does the interiors for that. But Chip is stepping back from that. Basically, when I asked him what's up with his Marvel stuff and like, hey, is there a chance you could ever do some more Spider-Man stuff? He essentially said it wouldn't be fair to DC since he's handling DC's franchise character if he goes over and continues to handle Marvel's franchise character, because he wouldn't want the two of them to be sharing any kind of stories or any ideology that way.
Fair. He at least seems like a genuine dude like that. He's trying to give his best to whatever he's working on. So props to him. Because his Daredevil run has been highly praised from the jump. Highly praised.
Mm-hmm. And his outside of that What If story that I know I enjoyed, and I thought Mark said it was okay, the What If Spider Shadow, Zdarsky has done some other Spider-Man short story stuff, so that's why I was hoping he would take over the Amazing Spider-Man at least, but nah.
The Spider Shadow was pretty dope. It jumped the shark for me toward the end. But really, the artwork.
It was the artwork, I thought. Yeah, they could have gave it to Bags, and it would have been probably a lot more fun. I'm halfway through Swan Songs. I'm liking it. Great creative team. At W. Maxwell Prince, I believe that's the guy that did those Ice Cream Man books. And Martin Simmons, who does the interiors for Department of Truth. Very, very similar art style inside of it, and it lends itself well to the short stories that are in here. This particular story that's in here focuses in on the end of the world, including people who are literally already on their deathbed, who are living out the end or the end of days, and it's pretty interesting. Let's see. This fire cover for Spawn. I have not gotten into.
Is that Matina? If that's Matina, Becker would love it.
Kaibar.
Y'all got this.
Kibar. Yeah. Okay. I haven't gotten into this particular issue yet. I spoke of Stephanie Phillips a minute ago. This is the new issue of Grimm. I enjoyed the first volume, not the second. So when I get into this one, if this doesn't deliver the same way the first one did, I may have to just give it up. It's over. I don't know why Marvel is milking this for what it's worth. The Donny Cates run that's now been handed over to Jackson Lanzig and Kelly. It's just
is that the annual?
This is the annual, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a prelude in it to Al Ewing's new run on the Immortal Thor. Hopefully that one takes off the same way that Donny Cates's first volume of Thor was. That whole Black Winter storyline, everyone thought it was great. I was one of those people. I'm hoping that Al Ewing's Immortal Thor, fires off that same way. The artwork is good in this. The story is not so much. The one thing that pissed me off is that this actually should be numbered annual 3, but it's numbered number 1 for this particular volume. There's been annuals already. Come on, Marvel. Like, we're not as stupid as what you think we are.
I didn't buy that. I haven't read it, but I got that annual number 1. I got the George Perez cover.
Okay. That's okay, man. That's why there's chocolate and vanilla, right? That's hey, comic book writing right now, at least when it comes to Marvel, what is not what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. However, I thought the Daredevil run was really, really well done, especially the whole putting Matt Murdock in prison to try and investigate what's going on, and the whole Kingpin as mayor. I thought that was really well done as well. Department of Truth is on hiatus, just the way Tynan does everything. Tynan takes breaks between stories. And
I swear by Department of Truth, I love that book. And they didn't even end it on like a bookend. They just kind of like, hey, we'll be back. Suck it up.
Yep. And Captain America 750. The end. This is the official end to the Symbol of Truth and the Sentinel of Liberty. The Sentinel of Liberty is a story. The first arc I thought was very, very well done. Where Steve Rogers
fight it out.
No. I haven't gotten into this, so I don't know if they do, but this is just including both their storylines. They bring them together because both are getting relaunched again in new number ones. Kel Surprise. But
when they keep doing these number ones, like I know like with Daredevil, wasn't it that they did the whole little Kingpin City, his kids, whatever event, Dark Reign or something like that, and then they launched it.
Which was really good.
One, which was it was they didn't even need to renumber it. It was like
no, they didn't need to do
story.
that. No.
They do that with everything, like how they do number ones all the time. But
I guess that's how they make money.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do they like? Is it still just like one unbroken story though?
For Daredevil, 100%. All that happened was he got out of prison. Elektra is still being her version of Daredevil. The only difference is that Kingpin is no longer mayor. But Daredevil is still dealing with the religious aspect of things, looking at his life that way. And that's what really focuses in here on the end of this particular run. It just seems whenever Marvel gets a new creative team on a book, they hit that reset button and pump out a bunch of variants and people buy it up, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not a bad marketing strategy, and it lets people know when to jump on and stuff. And as long as they keep the legacy numbering, I mean, it's all well and fine. As long as the story's like, like when this number one happened, like, yeah, last week, this is what we were doing. However, the last run ended, like you're just in a car crash and you broke your arm. Like you need to be in a cast in that issue number one next month.
Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It worked for Punisher. It worked for Ghost Rider. It didn't work for Miles, in my opinion. They didn't need to do it, and it didn't work for Daredevil. They didn't need to do it. They could have just kept rolling and rolling the way that it was. Those books were solid, in my opinion.
Yeah. Paul, what's a few you got this week?
Well, we did the Night Terrors. The only other one that I have actually is Jonathan Kent, Adventures of Superman.
Solid issue. Was it good?
This is number 5. You didn't read it?
I want to know your thoughts. Definitely read it.
I really liked it. It actually is. This is the penultimate issue. It's a 6-issue miniseries, so we have one. It basically is setting up it's setting up issue number 6 in a large way of the Injustice Superman against his son, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens.
The Injustice League shows up too, right?
Exactly, and they finally are able to capture Batman and everyone else that that they've been fighting in all of the Injustice titles that have come along. But yeah, I'm really looking. I mean, it really got me pumped for the next issue because I really want to see. Is he able to? Will he turn him around? Is he able to turn him around? Will he actually have a knockdown, drag out fight? It's like it could go so many different ways.
Yeah, I don't think he has a possibility of turning him around. I think he's going to have to put him down. And he's going to have to go blue to do it.
I think he's going to finally go. You just want somebody to go electric blue. That's all.
All of his narrator bubbles and stuff like that. All instead of you have like the symbol of whose like narration bubble it is. It's all electric blue through the whole series, and he's done it.
Yep.
He's done it twice now, briefly. So I think he's going to finally go full on. But at right now, it's almost like a Hulk out feature, like when he's just like pushing and pushing, like that spark happens and he just goes electric blue and just dusts whoever's in front of him. And then he like falls out from expending so much energy kind of thing. So it's pretty cool because it's been seeded all the way back like 2 years ago when Philip Kennedy Johnson took over the title. They really started diving into like, there's something in me that I don't know how to control. I don't even know what it is. I can't even recognize it. It was this the whole time that was really just, really brought out during the Lazarus Planet stuff that they didn't actually bring out in the Lazarus Planet stuff. That was
regardless of what they put on the covers.
Yeah, regardless. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought it was cool seeing Defiant Damien like standing up, like he's not afraid of Superman on this earth, even though he kind of in a way like yo, like I killed my brother, my dad's turned on me, you better be a father figure to me kind of way. It's pretty tragic in a way. I think Damien's going to be the wild card in this. I don't think this Damien's going to end up being John Kent's friend. The only other option I see is like potentially getting through to Superman and Damien not having none of it and putting Superman down, because if there's anything more dangerous than a rogue Superman is a rogue Damien, really. You know, like he's got all the capabilities of his father and none of the morality codes. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of bummed because this is a 6-issue mini and we have no continuation listed in sight yet. We do have John in the Action Comics and present with the rest of the Super family, but he's had his own title going on now for about 2 years solid. You know, he had
Son of Kal-El between his first one and then this one and then this,
So the only Dawn of DC book we've seen actually hit that extension button is Green Arrow. So another one that came out last week that I read this week, though, was World's Finest number 16, Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Fire. And the whole army of Amazos. You had Dr. Ivo get a couple geniuses in the room with Magnus and stuff, and you created a new updated Amazo that unfortunately has the mind power of these evil geniuses, and it immediately went into business for himself. And shutting down the city, shutting down the heroes, and they're just fighting all over the place. Tons of guest appearances from the Doom Patrol to the Metal Men. Just the Flash is now in it. Barry showed up. It's just action galore. Plastic Man's now on the scene, and it's just all done in Dan Mora goodness. It's pretty much just Silver Age DC pandemonium with Dan Mora behind the art. Big
and
finale.
If you like that, this coming week is World's Finest Teen Titans issue number 1.
Yeah,
that's right.
Spinning out of the pages of this, and I think it's right here. That. And now is Samney doing the interiors on that?
Emanuela Lupacino is doing it. Dan Mora is not.
Yeah.
He's doing Shazam and World's Finest with Mark Waid.
Yeah, they need to put him on Batman proper. Chip Zdarsky and Dan Mora, Batman. I think
we'll just let Zdarsky do his own pencils. Have complete creative control.
Yeah.
I just like the way Dan Mora draws everybody, to be honest with you. What he's doing in Shazam, I could just sit there and stare at those interiors. The way that he draws Captain Marvel to look like he looks modern Golden Age. It's hard, like even with his eyes drawn as slits and the tall eyebrows, you know, like he's smiling big and stuff, and it's wild. Let's see what Flo Dameron is in the building. He has to say, Tom Taylor can leave John alone. He needs a new writer. I don't think he would suffer from a new writer at all, because I know that there's a lot of people that don't pick up and push back on the title because they're not a fan of Tom Taylor and him bringing Jonathan Kent out as bi, which has not played into
Williamson.
Yeah, it hasn't played into the story whatsoever. You know, this isn't a John Kent dating story. Like, he's not even in the same universe as the rest of his family and friends. Give Mark Waid a John and Yara Flor Superman Wonder Girl book. Future State, one of the best 2-issue titles out of Future State was Superman Wonder Woman with John and Yara. That was awesome. Yeah, even their interactions on the Justice League one, like, yeah. Hear me out. Daniel Warren Johnson Batman. Yes. Yes. Tormented character. That's a layup. That is a layup. Yeah, I'm so excited for Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. Yeah, I've been hanging out in a lot. He does these fantastic Friday streams on YouTube. Yeah, you want to touch on that here in a minute? Or you can touch on it now. We didn't get to talk about it. Void Rivals, probably the hottest book of the month. Did you get a chance to read it yet, Chris?
Yeah, I went into it like at first, like because I heard some of the hype and I was confused. I'm like, okay, what am I looking at here? Are these figures going to change at all? And again, I enjoyed Kirkman's pacing. So the fact that we get to slowly find out that these are two rival alien races somehow stranded on a particular planet. Yeah, a particular planet or moon, and they decide to try and figure it out and work it out. And they hang a corner, and look who's there! Good old Jetfire.
Well, wasn't that a great way they presented it? Do you remember Dennis Quaid's movie Enemy Mine?
Yes.
That's
a deep cut. Yeah.
That's all this was. I mean, it's just sitting right there on the shelf.
Oh,
so that's all this was Enemy Mine, 100%. And you had the two warring factors. They're stuck in this barren place together, having to figure out we can kill each other, we can work together so we both don't die, and they're just trying to build their ship, take the parts from the two ships and make one. It didn't work. Let's go scrapping for anything, and they find this old spaceship. Well, let's put a charge to it, see if it'll crank up, and boy did it.
You even see the words that it's when he's transforming.
Yeah, and, you can hear it. I can hear the Michael Bay transforming noise, which shout out to Dr. Von Hoot, because I did go peek at the early Transformer stuff not long after that Rise of the Beast stream we did. And those noises, those unique sounds that Michael Bay used are the same sounds that you hear in the cartoon. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it was awesome seeing Jetfire.
And Jetfire basically wakes up dazed and confused and wanting to know where he is and what time, how long he's been out. And just sayonara, screw you guys, I'm out of here. And it's just gone. And they both look at each other like, what just happened? And then they just carry on with the whole one decides they don't want to work with the other one. And that's how it ends. So, if you want a deep dive into what else is here, check out Taylor Winder from a couple weeks ago. He talked about this. I thought a great synopsis. It's fun. It's fun. And if it's world building, this is a hell of a good way to kick it off. Just a little tease. Jetfire is not even on there for 3 pages, I don't think.
That's a great book.
Yeah. Flo said the best John Kent story in the past few years. Of course, because what are those 2 magic words right there? Tom King.
Tom King.
I like the whole.
I'm just saying, in this one issue, in this single issue comic, Tom King manages to correct, apologize, and reimagine everything that Superman run that people dare not speak of did to John Kent.
The Bendis run.
Yeah. Esteban said he read the 5 pages of John Kent Superman for this week and think John was acting like a condescending prick to the Justice League and Harley Quinn. He felt unlikable. We'll try to finish it later. Keep in mind, this is the Harley Quinn that killed his mother in this universe. This is you'd have to read more than 5 pages, especially the ones that come before this issue, to understand why he's so abrasive toward these characters. This isn't the Justice League. It's a room full of heroes and villains that killed him on this world even.
Exactly. I say he's in a universe where he died inside of his mother, so he's just a sucker for Tom King and proud of it.
I am. Also out this week, Tom King's Love Everlasting from Image Comics, issue number 9.
That's an ongoing, correct?
Cosmic Westworld, basically. It is wicked. We still haven't got to the crux of what's causing her to die and come back to life every time she discovers love. She's killed by mysterious creatures. They're starting to get a little bit of the veil behind the curtain, but I am 2 issues behind on that. So maybe this one is the one that tells us all what happens. I'm here to love at Flo Dameron. Thank you, sir. I've got to go to bed, guys. Have a good stream. So unlike you to wish someone well. Yeah. But yeah, I managed to go back to the honey hole this week, and y'all know I grabbed the Transformers run, and it got from 1 to 50. It was missing number 11. I got it from Southern Comic Geek. It was missing number 22, which is the Marvel Anniversary Border issue.
Yep.
Got it from Izzyverse. And then I actually went back to the honey hole And I'm like, yo, those books are too cheap for how much they're costing. I'm gonna go back and grab some more copies of some stuff. So I got another issue of number 5, which is the actual issue that I'm on right now. But this one was it's the what do you call it?
Oh,
Uh,
the shiny UPC.
Yes, the shiny UPC variant. But look at the kind of prices that are at the Honey Hole.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
I actually looked this up yesterday on eBay, seeing if I can find a 9.8 less than $200. Can't do it.
So I grabbed another Dinobots. I grabbed one of those at Heroes Con, and I grabbed like this one. This is a contender, guys. Like this is like a legit contender. It's got one spine tick on it that breaks color. That is it. But I love Jetfire from Revenge of the Fallen. Like when it's the SR-71 Blackbird that comes all old and crotchety, like with his walker and stuff, and he's like, Optimus, take my parts, and like he like amps up. It's just a cool character. I liked him a lot. I like those movies. I'm telling y'all, I'm a sucker for those movies. So I'm gonna grab another Jetfire book, and this one's not the
New
thing. Yeah, I wonder if my other one is. The other one might be. Now that I think about it, that one's super crisp. And for $4, the first appearance of Jetfire, who's like the premier character for the Image stuff so far, is the only one we've seen who's on the poster. He's in Void Rivals. I'm like, maybe this ends up in a Legion loot or something. You know what I mean? Newsstand, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I know the stories I play the game just feel should act better considering his father has taught him to be better even to bad people.
He's a kid still. He's still just
a kid.
I don't think he was being bad to him. He was just taking control of the situation like he needs to. Like, again, you really got to, like, I don't want to say, like, I mean, think what you want to think. That's all well and good, but there's a little bit of missing context to why he's like that. He's on edge. Yeah, well, he definitely isn't his father. That's one thing that they've established. Like this is not Superman. This is John Kent. They are definitely their own individuals, and John Kent is going through the growing pains of being an adult, trying to fulfill his father. Yeah, there's only one Superman. There is only one Kryptonian that will beat the piss out of you and just keep you like awake enough so that he can now take you to help you rescue your sister that Lex Luthor has, and he used to blackmail you to kill Superman. There's only one of that guy. John Kent is not that guy. No matter how hard they try, he will never be that guy. He's going to always be John Kent. You got my address, Mark. Ship that. Which one, man? You didn't tell me which one.
I think he was talking about the Are All Dead.
the
Shockwave.
Jetfire. Yeah,
Shockwave.
Jetfire. This might not meet your standards, Nick. Yeah, this isn't a 9.8. But yeah, I'm excited for Shockwave. Like I said, I did just finish the first 4 issues of that original run. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was super wordy. Tons of like narration dialogue. I absolutely love that. It's been a while since I like dove into some 80s stuff, and it felt right. One thing, the only massive criticism I have is the inconsistent artwork and coloring in a book that's so massive with the amount of characters that are laid in there. And with my knowledge of these characters, really, this is like one of those things, like it's better to go in not knowing anything than have to relearn stuff, because all the designs of characters I know from the movies. And I can name all those robots that probably look all the same and confusing to actual cartoon fans, but it's kind of hard for me to start spotting them when from panel to panel they're colored differently. You know what I mean? Like the blue and red will be reversed on the next panel, and Prowl will look like Hound, will look like Starscream. Like, and I want to understand that every panel I'm looking at.
Oh, the 80s.
Yeah, he's not there yet. He's not there yet.
He is
in the rebellious older teenager years, and he's doing his best. He most certainly will be. He'll be there one day, but he'll never be his dad. His dad's the GOAT. You can strive to be. You can try to be. But yeah, John's at an age where he's making errors. That's one thing that's interesting to follow the character, because he's wanting to make the right calls, but he's often like well-intentioned, like not always You know, he doesn't have his father's like intellect. He doesn't have his father's discernment, his experience, his judgment. He's still having to. He is not Superman yet. He's called Superman, but he's not. You say denial. I say informed. Love you, Esteban. Let's move on outside of Transformers. That was a cool story. I thought it was very interesting. The whole concept, like the backstory they gave of Cybertron, of how they were like kind of like they didn't get into like their makers. They got into it like it was a natural evolutionary process that these things came up. It was almost like we were getting the Transformers history based on what they know of their history and what they think of their history, because I know it gets introduced later, like that the quintessent like have something to do with like their creation and stuff. But it was cool, like getting the idea and seeing how Megatron just naturally over just evolution, just kind of Cain and Abel-esque, became his own resentful, power-hungry person. And he spent eons seeding his revolt. Like, he's the reason why they're able to transform. They were just humanoid mechanical stuff. So they went in and they did that to themselves. They altered themselves to have the ability to turn into war machines, basically. And they spent eons planning their whole coup, and that's why they were such a formidable villain. That's why Megatron beast modes people so often. That's why like he just chumps them off, and he does in this as well as you see in the movies. And Optimus, I loved how he just naturally came out of the ranks, like from the ashes and the clouds of battle, one hero arose from the rest, and I'm like, yo, that's smooth. And it's really cool seeing how no matter what, the Decepticons are always ahead of the curve. Like the Autobots are fighting to keep their head above water the whole time. And once they get to Earth, they're there for millions of years. They crashed millions of years ago, like before the dinosaurs and stuff. And the concept of time with this is just fantastic. That's something that you don't normally deal with. The concept of death being so vastly different for them. You know, it's not just like your sparks on and off and extinguish forever kind of thing. But it was cool adding in the humans. The humans were like the driving factor for the plot. The Decepticons and the Autobots, their fuel's running out, and they need to find a way to convert some form of fuel on Earth to power them. So that's what the big struggle was about, like the race to that fuel source. And they were using the Witwikis as the mechanics that were going to be able to convert that fuel. And in the end, just like in everything else that I've experienced, it was the humans that laid the kill shot. You know, they converted the fuel at gunpoint for the Decepticons, and the Decepticons were fully charged coming in, wiping out the Autobots, and they just started deteriorating and fell down from where the Witwikis converted the fuel, but used a corrosive fuel, and it eventually just took them out. But massive ending, getting told by the AI in the Ark that this isn't the first time that we were woken up. The Ark was woken up millions of years ago when they detected something metal coming across the Earth when nothing else was, and it went out to scout it and saw that it was the villainous Shockwave, whose power is second only to Megatron's, and you see him murdering dinosaurs and all kind of horrible stuff. So the Ark wakes up, fires up 5 Transformers, and gives them the ability to cloak in the only thing it can find, which is the
Grimlock.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So the Dinobots, though, like from my knowledge, was always issue number 8 was their first appearance. No, not at all. They're named, they're shown, they're moving, they're going into battle, all in issue 4 of the original series. I did read this one at HeroesCon, and I can't wait. So this is clearly like a flashback book of when they were first woken up and then went after Shockwave. And yeah, so the Autobots got bamboozled by Shockwave at the end of issue 4. It's a massive cliffhanger. We know that they're going to have to go find and wake up the Dinobots to help battle Shockwave moving forward. So I'm already balls deep into this stuff. Like, it's got me hooked already. It's very engaging storytelling. I'm loving it. The UK comics that Simon Furman wrote fill in some of the origin. They're a prose story in one of the UK annuals that detail Megatron's rise to power and political backstory. Let's see, I gotta find that. Find that. I did pick up Headmasters when I went and grabbed those other keys, because I was looking through and trying to catalog which issues I had, and I realized from looking at the box art that when you get like in the 30s or 40s, maybe the box art turns to one of the Headmasters. I'm like, I know what that is from looking at it. I need to go back and get that mini series because I'm going to need it.
So that's right around the time when Hasbro was jumping the shark, trying to hold on for dear life with toy sales, and they decided to have robots that could change their heads, not only just transform, they can change their heads. But the story that's for Headmasters is actually a lot of fun. It's completely different from Gen 1. The whole idea that the robots crash somewhere else and they want to prove their worth and loyalty to the race that's there. And what they do is they take their heads off, and as proof that they're not lying, because this race has been burnt before. It's actually a really fun series.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to. I'm going to have to convene with Dr. Von Hoot and get him to tell me what issue to stop the main title and read the 4 of those, or where to put them in their run wise. I do have 2 more books from this week. One, I'm probably dropping this title because I just find myself not caring after issue 1, but it was already on my pool, and that's Steelworks number 2. I just don't care. I get it. You could do this in action. Just tell this small story of building up the infrastructure. I don't care about corporate battle for power of whose tower's taller kind of thing. And that's what it is. I like Steel, but the story itself just doesn't. The first issue just. But Peacemaker Tries Hard, number 3, I think. Yeah. Fire. Absolutely fire. This book is 100% the spirited sequel to the television show, and it's John Cena through and through. This is fire. So this is him licking his wounds after being betrayed by French Gorilla and the Brain, and they shot him, left him for dead. His body armor saved him. He got some wounds. He goes to a bar to heal up, and then the demolition crew show up wanting revenge for killing one of their people, and he just waxes the floor with them in comical fashion and stuff. It's just good. It is hilarious. It's funny. The jokes land. And his probation officer notices that he broke the rules of his probation by traveling, and comes to see him, and he tells him what's going on with his missing dog and stuff. And his probation officer puts on a weird costume, says he used to be a crime fighter himself, and he'll go help him. He's not letting him out of his sight, and it gets a little extra weird. Like it's James Gunn could write this, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference from Kyle Starks and James Gunn. It is spot on, dude. Spot on. That run. So basically, they kill off the previous toy line and introduce the next. Oh, that's sad. I hope they don't kill Hound. Hound was one of my favorite characters in the movie. John Goodman, like he was a savage dude. It was nuts. It was so cool. You know that we never actually see him transform. Like you never watch him transform into the vehicle in the 2 movies that he's in. Just throwing that out there. He's like. As a truck, and then it looks away, and you go back, and you hear the noise, and he's walking. They saved money on that. That'd been a tough transform though, with the beer belly and everything. But his design was awesome. He's a Jeep. He's like an army Jeep in the comics. Yeah. My last book, and I won't bore y'all with it because it's freaking awesome. By the way, cover of the week for me. Paul seen it. Finn had to show it off when he saw it. He's like, Paul, look at this. It's King Kong number 2. From Believe It or Not Dynamite. Like I thought all they did was Red Sonja, but I guess because the gorilla's naked, they can do this as well. Yeah, so Naked Gorilla. This cover is just absolutely amazing. That this is not what's going on inside the pages of the book. This predates the story of the Wanderer finding its way to Skull Island, but you have some like U-boat pretty much crashes, and the survivors make it to shore on Skull Island. And that first night, just surviving the swim and getting there was plagued by terrors in the night. And this is them the next day trying to find somewhere to figure out their bearings. And they're just getting attacked by everything, from the stuff that's in the marsh, from the creatures that run the ground, just everything. And they just know from that terrible night that they don't want to face whatever it was that came for them. And it was King Kong. And he's looming in the distances and making his way. This is actually really good. There's a brand new Godzilla story out that's set in Pirate Days. That was my read of the week when it dropped, and then this is good. So if you're a big fan of big monsters, it's kind of a great time to pick up those little miniseries that are out right now. Inaki Miranda is doing the Godzilla one, the A covers and interiors. Mm-hmm. It's fire, dude. It was so good. and not just the art, but the actual storytelling in it. But this is amazing too. Alex Cox is writing it, but yeah, it's wicked. Definitely enjoying it.
I'm glad to see they're doing just more than Vampirella and Red Sonja.
Yeah, like I said, he's naked. The gorilla's naked, so it checks off their box. See, no clothes.
Did Ben Scyther do that cover? I don't know.
No, dude, golly, man, I forgot. Dude, you would know the artist that I got #1 for. It's like a big time Marvel artist, but the covers for him are absolutely insane. Man, I'd have to look it back up because I can't see who's written. But look, there's a cover for #1.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
But this is a cover artist that I know that you're familiar with. That you have like regular Marvel covers come out. Dynamite has Gargoyles and Darkwing. Yeah, Gargoyles. They're pretty much naked wearing loincloths. So yeah, same thing.
Darkwing Duck doesn't wear any pants.
No pants. Dude's walking around.
Pants. It's a ballsy move. No pants.
Okay, so this isn't one. So Jay Lee did a B cover, but this wasn't obviously not Jay Lee's. This is Joe DeVito.
Joe DeVito.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that guy. So Brian Hitch did the A cover, Jay Lee did the B cover, but I just had to have this one though. Like,
yeah, that's
I've been getting to
very
see
nice. That's a
covers.
work. Mm-hmm.
There's amazing variants for it, but yeah. I'm a King Kong guy.
I'm a Godzilla guy.
Yeah, I definitely like both. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes down to it, I just like the monkey better. Yeah, good stuff. It was a fantastic week for comics. Plagued with night terrors, but we made it through. Y'all got anything else you want to hit on tonight?
The Jamestown the Fourth. If you ever watch this, I'm ready for Volume 2 of DC versus Vampires. Whenever you are.
He told me that he's waiting on you to finish Deceased before he even does it. He
Damn
said
him!
He appreciated you reading it, but he wanted
Damn him! That losing
criticism.
weight son of a bitch! Just give me what I want.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The ending was crap, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everyone has a good night. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Tomorrow, part 2 of the my graded comic collection comes out. So for those that don't know, this slab right here, it's a 9.8 Zerdy Catwoman number 47. This is being given away during that video series. So on Monday, those videos will drop for the next couple of weeks. So if you check out those videos, be sure to watch every one and do what you need to do in the comment section to be entered to win that. And then we'll give it away right here one Sunday night after that video series ends. And yeah.
In a duck race?
No, yeah, I might be able to do a duck race. No, because it's a comment picker thing.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The Headmaster plot merged with the ongoing Marvel storyline in Transformers number 38. So between 37 and 8 is when I need to read those 4 then. Thank you, Pops. Thank you. Paul.
Yes.
You know what this week is, right? What is this? Is this week? Is this episode night week? Are we off this week?
We're off this week. But regardless of what you hear on other channels, every other Wednesday night, we are on
Thursdays.
Every other Wednesday night we are here. Not here. We're on my channel, Sector 2815. So next Wednesday night we will have Burke Family 54 and Beckerman will be on. So they will be there. And
East
then,
Coast
of course,
versus Central Time. The battle for real
exactly.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no battle for real time. It's just real.
Yeah, me and Becker had an unnecessarily long conversation about that. Like, I don't set the standards. You know, they existed before I was born.
Look, the 2 leaders of our country, each leader is in which time zone?
Yeah.
The real time zone.
The real time
Yeah,
zone.
and in all sincerity, my argument was like, it's not even a matter of like which is better. It's just because the world spins this direction, this coast gets hit first with the time zone. That's
Hit
why.
first with sunlight. The leaders are here. The major cities
top
on
of that-
the continents are here. It's just the way it is.
And on top of that, whenever you're hearing anything like promoted, it's always this time Eastern, this time Pacific, because that's the beginning and the end of the time zones. Like the middle ones, I hate to say it, are just, unless you live in them, are not referenced or needed. You just need those two
Them.
for reference.
Middle stepchildren. That
Y'all are the third child. Both of y'all.
And there's Hawaii out there going, remember us? Remember us?
We remember them in the 50s.
yeah.
We went and planted a flag in them. Okay, we remember you. We are the captain now. That's what America did to Hawaii. Oh man. So yeah, that then Tuesday will be new DC Day. I'm not sure what time, because hopefully I'm going swimming. I've been like needing to get in like a body of water deeper than my bathtub for a while. I just need to, and I've missed the last two little swimming excursions with the kids. So whether we go hit the pool or we go up to this lake that's nearby, I want to go splash around in the water, play with the family, and just relax a little bit. But whether I do it at lunchtime or do it that evening, there most certainly will be a new DC Day. So be sure to check that out. We're going to get out of here. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that join button, become a channel member. And as always, I'm Mark. That's Paul. And guess what? That's Chris. But we are Legion.